Do you vendor your pull?
Nope, I'm going to add a socket to the pull.
What?
I'm putting a
No,
Talrun in there.
Pull.
Pull?
P-U-L.
Yes, I vendored that pull.
Why didn't you? Can't you use that to up your Kelpie snare?
You can use it to up the Kelpie snare, but if I did, then my mark would not have had wouldn't have been able to use it anymore.
Oh, I got you.
The reason I also socketed that Talrun in there is Talrun in the weapon does 75 poison damage over however many seconds. And I don't care about the damage, but there's a rule in Diablo 2. All enemies regen health slowly, but if they're poisoned, they cannot regen health. So, if he's poisoning enemies when he hits them, the concept is now they've also lost the ability to regen. So on long battles, like the Ancients, against the cold immune, then he wouldn't be able to regen, and it would just cut the... I mean, he doesn't regen faster than I can do damage, but over time, it's just a lot of hit points in total that I have to make up for. It didn't quite pan out just because my merc is so impossible to keep alive in the Ancients, but...
I thought you had to depend on him for like 100% of the DPS on one of the guys.
I was going to, but he just would not survive. It's impossible to...
And I haven't seen that segment, so I still don't know how you defeat the Ancients.
Well,
because isn't one of them cold and fire immune?
No,
Oh,
they
okay.
can be cold and fire immune.
Oh, you just... So
One of them is always cold immune.
Oh,
One of them is always fire immune, one of them is always lightning immune.
Oh, okay.
The lightning immune, I just can't static him. The one who's fire immune, I don't care about. But the one who's cold immune is annoying.
You just use your fireballs.
What I'm doing now is I'm loading my cube up with extra potions because they're so hard. And those town portal scrolls are because in the Ancients, you're supposed to fight them without going back to town. So if you open up a town portal, all the Ancients will return back to statues and they'll be back at full health. But what that means for me is if I look at their mods and like one of them is fire and cold immune, like right there, Madwak was lightning and cold immune. I can't deal with that, so I use this town portal, and now they've re-rolled their mods, and they're easier to deal with. So
And you have do you still have a scroll open, town portal open?
No. The scroll of town portal closes once you activate the town portal closes once you activate the Ancients again.
Oh.
So I can't go back to town. So what I did is I static.
And your merc died
My merc died very quickly.
immediately.
He allowed me to static down Talik, though. So the story behind all three Ancients. Talik was this great warrior who, wait, was he? Yeah, he was this great warrior who, like, lived in this tribe until some guy came by and said, hey, you have to come defend Mount Arreat. And Talik was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I have a family. And then about a week later, the same guy came back and said, dude, you really have to come to Mount Arreat. Talik's like, all right, fine. And then he came to Mount Arreat to defend it. Madwak is just some psycho who always won every battle. And every now and then, people would report he would just be in the middle of a battle and then he'd run away. And they thought it was because he could see the future and he saw that they were going to lose that battle. Until one day he was just sitting there meditating and then he wandered off to Mount Arreat because he had been told in his meditation to come here to defend it. And that's his story. And Korlik is just like... I forget his story. He's just like...
He just likes hopping.
He's just a great warrior who loves hopping all over the place. Until finally someone said...
Hey,
Or he's like, oh, I gotta go to Mount Arreat. Or something.
there's a lot of room for me to hop up there.
I
So
don't know.
why did they get turned into statues?
Because they're idiots. They're the Ancients. They're from ancient times. They're the defenders of the Worldstone Keep.
But how did they get turned into golden statues?
That was just their fate.
So part of defending it meant that they had to be turned into statues.
Yes.
I see.
How did Bale get by them? I don't know.
Does Bale even know?
I don't know. I don't know if Bale knows. Now I just dropped my cube on the ground, and that makes all the items that were inside, i.e. potions, fall into my inventory. So now my inventory has a lot more potions.
Oh, and you don't really fear Korlik because he doesn't do really high damage, right?
Well, if you remember the failed segment, I got him down to Korlik, and then Korlik one-shotted me. But that was because he had Holy Fire Aura. And this time, he doesn't.
What's Holy Fire?
Holy Fire does fire AoE damage around him, but also gives him fire damage in all of his attack.
Oh.
So Korlik is immune to cold, so I have to fireball him after staticking him. but he also hops all over the place like a jackass. So I have to do this crap, which you're now
He
watching.
almost killed you. Corley, it's just ridiculous.
He is.
Like, when did it? All right, maybe you can answer this question for me. But like I know in Final Fantasy games the Dragoon always jumps, and like, who thought that jumping was a viable strategy in war ever? Like, what video game maker? Or like, is it based on some sort of mythology or?
I don't know.
Well, fine. Because it just looks silly in practice like this. I mean, in Final Fantasy games, they can at least have the guy jump up in the air for like a day and a half before he falls down for additional damage. And while he's up in the air, he's invincible.
Well, if you could leap that far, it seems like it would increase the damage of your attack significantly.
But does it?
Well, for the barbarian, sure.
But for him?
Yeah. I mean, I certainly don't want to be hit by a leap attack, even though it won't kill me.
And it really doesn't seem like it's hard to avoid.
No, it's not.
It seems like he misses a lot, too. Like, see, you didn't move out of the way in enough time there. But...
As long as you move slightly... I mean, he's got a really weird hit window when he lands. So as long as you move slightly, you're really fine.
So how many times did you have to run the Ancients?
Oh my god. So many times. A ridiculous amount of times.
So, like, were you getting really excited when you were at this point?
Yeah.
And then when he almost killed you there, did you start to panic?
Well, I had gotten to this point about 3 or 4 times, but what usually happened is I would run out of potions. And so I'd have to spend, like, literally 2 or 3 minutes sitting there waiting on my mana to regen and then launching 2 or 3 fireballs. And then running around for another 30 seconds. And that's just unacceptable.
Yeah.
So, that one was good. Now, what I could have done is teleported through the Worldstone Keep to get the waypoint. That would have saved me a bit of backtracking time. But the Worldstone Keep is just so easy to instantly die that there's just no way I'm risking it at this point after killing him.
I don't know how you're going to be able to... Like, I haven't seen this segment again, so I just... All of Neelithak's buddies are cold immune.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, but... Okay.
But
You can still
not.
Florb through them.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, never mind. I can see how you did this. And you don't kill any of his guys, so he can't use Corpse Explosion.
Well, he can use Corpse Explosion, ironically, on the guys that commit suicide, which I don't think is fair. And also those serpents that were hanging around there for some reason, they died. So they can explode.
Yeah, you ran, like, right by a corpse. That just seems needlessly dangerous. Look at... Oh my god, I would never do that.
As long as I don't sit on it, I'm fine.
The range can hit you when you're off the screen.
No, it's not that big. See, that one hit me.
And you didn't die?
I didn't die. I'm not gonna die.
I don't understand why you didn't die.
It depends on the hit points of the mobs. Those suicide mobs have almost no hit points.
Oh, is that what it is?
Mm. Those serpent ones would really mess me up, though.
They would kill you in one hit.
And any of those guys, too, would have also killed me.
Interesting.
But they're cold immune, so I'm not going to be killing them.
Interesting, okay. You're just buying 2 potions and then buying your mana?
I bought those 2 potions because I'm really low on gold here.
Personalize your shoes.
Yeah, you need to personalize the items just to finish the quest.
So why did you take your Merc's armor? Wait,
I sold his armor. I need to afford these potions.
So you're sending him into battle with the shirt on his back?
Yep. Hey, he's the one who signed up for this.
You didn't even sign up for it. He was sold into slavery.
Well, that's his problem.
And you're a horrible friend to him.
I'm not a friend. I'm
You've
his
been
employer.
You're not his employer. We've discussed this 3 times. We've discussed this once per difficulty.
Then I'm his owner.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not even being nice to him.
So?
He dies all the time.
I don't have to be
You
nice.
steal his shirt off his back so you can keep being an alcoholic. So bad.
I gave him that shirt. What does he care?
You gave it, and then you took it away when he needs it most.
So the thing, he's already dead. The thing with this segment is these Maguses, there's a chance for basically anything, or a ton of guest monsters spawn down here, and these snakes are definitely the easiest to kill, and not be killed by. They're poison immune. They got no cold resistance. So since they were down here is very fortunate. I have to clear that area, as you'll soon see, because I have to park mobs.
Oh, and you didn't have anyone in the throne chamber itself.
Right, nobody in the throne
the
chamber.
TOD.
That's also extremely lucky. Like, if there was someone, I would have spent like 2 or 3 minutes in there clearing them out. You know, you can get those bloodlords that are like, they're cold immune and they're like 75% fire resistant. So they're not going down. There's the stupid succubuses, those are cold immune. And they're a pain to kill. I'm just bringing that up to ideas, so I'll have something to sell. Now these guys, those mobs over there, the bosses, they're cold resistant. But the mages, those are all cold immune. So there's no way I can kill them.
You're not using an antidote potion? Oh, there you go.
I can kill them with fireball, but since they're mages, when I get too close to them, they'll all start running away and scattering. So I can never hit them with fireball splash damage. I can never park the merc in front of them to kill them. So what I end up doing is parking them. Parking is like when I just bring them outside the chamber. Once Bale loses sight of them, he assumes they're dead.
He's a horrible friend.
He is. It's like if you go into the bathroom, I'm like, wow, Mark's dead. He's not in direct line of sight.
They're shooting such slow projectiles at you and you still manage to get hit by them.
Well, I have to kite them in a certain way. I can't just kite them in a straight line.
Because then you'll lose.
Yeah, you have to zigzag
to
keep
serpentine.
them. Right, to keep them bunched. And then I try to plant them over there.
Why do you go back to town? Oh.
To get my merc.
Can you afford him?
Yeah. I had to sell his armor to do so, though. And I'm like, why isn't the guy showing up? I thought it was because there was someone left there, but no, it's someone left over here. So that was a little bit sloppy on my part. I might have been able to see him if I knew to look for him up there, but I was just preoccupied. So I lost a couple seconds there, but you know, with all the fortunate things that have happened this segment, it's really still valuable. Very valuable run. These guys are pretty rough. There's always the lightning enhanced one. There's always the Hydrus, but both my merc and I have decent resistances to both fire and lightning, so it's not too hard to take them down without dying. Plus, they always charge right at you, or almost always charge right at you, so they're never like scattered running around. Plus, they're fat, which just means they're easier to hit.
They're not fat. They're
They
just
are.
big.
Well, whatever.
They're large. They're not wide.
I don't discriminate.
They're not hefty.
I'm not sugarcoating insult to this genocide of mine.
Why are you keeping those throwing knives? Are they integral to the final part of this?
I don't know. I mean, there's time to kill between bail packs like that.
He's laughing at the deaths of his friends.
So these
I guess
guys
you
are
need to cope in some
these
way.
guys are difficult. The reason I'm not freezing them like I did normal difficulty is because freeze effects like that. I had never leveled up my glacial spike, so it's still stuck on like 1.2 second freeze duration. And the way those mechanics work is in hell, everyone has like 10% freeze duration. So since I freeze them for 1.2 seconds with my spike, they'll get frozen for 0.12 second. It depends on the mob, but these guys are frozen for almost no time. I'm out of mana potions.
I like how you can just call timeout during a fight.
Yeah. it's
Why
not
can't
very
they follow
fair.
you back to town?
The portal's too small for them.
That's not how portals work, and you know it. Nobody ever does. They're just like, oh, she's on ghouls. Or home base, or home, or whatever you called it. What did you call it?
I'm trying to think.
Because we called it ghouls, and I